Okay, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst & Company. Catalyst & Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives, as well as our own. And we continually work to be the artists we've always wanted to be. Now, a lot has been happening in my land, in Beck Land. I think I just did my 18th event yesterday, the 18th event since the beginning of February. I did my second interview, newspaper interview yesterday, and both of them are expected to be out sometime this week. One, I believe, this Friday. The other one, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's sometime this week. We've got another number of other interviews set up to go. So all the stuff we've been waiting for over the past 10 years is really, really happening now. It's starting to happen. And we're gaining a lot of traction here. So if you've been sitting around like this for the last 10 years with me, we're getting there. We're really getting there. We've got another event that we're organizing, and by we, I mean my sister and I. My sister has been working with me on PR and making connections. I also have a manager, although we haven't signed paperwork yet. I have a woman who's been managing me and getting my artwork out in other places around the city, places that I haven't made happen or my sister hasn't made happen. So I've got like, I finally have a small team of people that I'm working in. And I'm not meaning to stand here and go, it's braggadocious alert, it's time to brag. Whenever I say these things, it is because we have been going through this together for 10 years. You've watched me sink, go from what I thought were going to be great heights to sinking like a stone. You've watched the channel evolve. You've watched the equipment that we use for the videos changed. You've watched the work evolve. You've watched ideas come. You've watched ideas turn into larger ideas and portfolios. I mean, and me change places over and over again. What did we have? We had the original Studio 120, which was a mill in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We had a second Studio 120 in the same mill, but on the second floor, I believe. I've done this out of an attic apartment, out of a small apartment in Central Falls. My neighbor's dogs, the ones I don't walk anymore. Let me see, I'm trying to think, where did we go? Virginia, we've been in several places here in Sarasota. So there have been a whole bunch of places where we've been doing this. It's George. Okay, so anyway, you've watched a lot happen. You've watched shows come and go. You've watched opportunities, like me really take hold of opportunities, and then watch opportunities just evaporate one after the other. But we've always kept going together, and now I have traction, and we're moving forward, and I want to share this with you. I want you to feel that you are a part of this. The people that have been with me for the past 10 years or even a week, that you're a part of this too, and it gives you hope and encouragement to keep working and keep trying. Sorry, I have this plugged in, but apparently, oh, maybe I don't have it plugged in. Hang on. Plugged in now? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I have 5% battery, so hopefully it won't die out. Anyway, we've seen a lot. We've all been through a lot together, and especially during COVID. And especially during COVID. But okay, because oh no, they're done now. They're done barking now. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot. But I want you to feel encouragement, because I've been sitting at the end of the world with my fingers crossed, just trying and trying and trying, and now I have people. Now I have people who are lifting me up, and those people are introducing me to other people that have been lifting me up, and other people that are lifting me up, and we're finding people who are passionate about the artwork, and they see it, and they get it, including these reporters that I spoke to this week. On that, we're expecting to talk to, I think, one of the news stations. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff going on. But we're also applying to publications where I couldn't get seen by publications before. Now there's a great chance that I could get into the publications that I've been trying so hard on my own to get into. So anyway, yesterday I did an event, and it was supposed to be, it was, that's Simon. George must be out for his walk finally. He gets a whole, no, he's not out for a walk. The neighbor is bumbling his way to the laundry. So anyway, yesterday I was supposed to be doing a live painting event, and it turned into something that I really enjoy doing. It turned into an artist talk. I brought this particular Frida with me to show, and I love doing this. It's been a long time, but I love doing this. I brought this particular Frida with me to show, as well as several others. And at this event, it was held at a gallery called Lexow Gallery, where we're showing the first batch of now 19 Frida Kahlos. Anyway, the show is up through August 18th, and I think we have the first 19 hanging up, and I have 6 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. 8. All right, anyway, in the studio I have numbers, I think 20 through 26. That can't be possible. Oh my God, I can't think. The dogs were driving me insane. I can't think. Anyway, I know I'm up to developing to number 26. The goal is to get up to number 30 and then stop the Frida project for a while, freeze it. Well, I want to get up to number 30, maybe a little bit more by the last event we're going to be doing at Lexow Gallery. And that event at the Lexow Gallery will be a proper artist talk where I have a moderator, because now I have those people too. I have a moderator, and we're taking questions and answering questions. And I'm hoping that we find somebody who knows more about Frida than I do to be on the panel as well. So there's someone there who can answer more in-depth questions in a meaningful way, whereas I'm just like, her face, strong, look-see. But yesterday's event was supposed to be a live painting event, and it turned into an artist talk because I started to work on this, and somebody asked me a question. When I turned around, there was a whole group of people standing there. They were watching me, and then one person asked a question, another person asked a question, and then another person asked a question, and then another person. So it turned into me like leading these talks and these people around and showing them things and giving them details in the material and insight into why and how, and it was so much fun. It was just what I love to do. And when I tell people, I was telling my sister how I'm sorry, distracted by the dogs. They're going to start barking again. When I'm doing these things, I am animated, and I'm making sure that every person in the room is smiling. Everyone who's looking at me, I make eye contact with, and I engage with, and I go from person to person to person to person and recognize each person that's come in that room, each person that has decided to participate, because they have made an effort. And this is the thing, they have made an effort to come see me. And I used to think it was a weird quirk that I had, wanting to recognize everyone. And then I watched the documentary Can't Stop by Conan O'Brien, where he does the same thing. And then I've been thinking a lot too about Keith Haring. And Keith Haring did the same thing. You know, it is as I've come to think about it more and more, it is a way to say thank you to people who have really made a conscious effort to participate in one of my events and to be with the work, and they really want to know. So it's I love making people laugh. That's the thing, is making everybody I can laugh and smile and feel warm and feel that they're appreciated. Every single person. At every event that I used to do, I've been able to practice this one thing again, where if I see somebody looking at the work and they kind of look over at me and they kind of look over a little bit, or even if they don't look at me, if they've been looking at the work and I haven't made eye contact with them, I will go out the door once they've left. I'll say excuse me to everybody, grab some things, whether it's a painting brochure or a postcard, or like yesterday I had stickers for the first time. Grabbing all these little items and going out the door and saying, hey, tap them on the shoulder and say, I'm really sorry I didn't get to speak to you, but thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you coming to my show. Hand them these things. And then we start a little conversation. That ends, I'll go back to the crowd or to the people or the person, and we'll continue talking. It's just being a good host. And it took me a long time to get there, but it's being a good host. And this also builds your reputation, my reputation, as being an artist that people want to work with because we're kind, or we try to be kind, and just decent. Instead of, I can't stand the snobby artist. I can't stand it. It's just so awful. But if you get a chance, see Can't Stop by Conan O'Brien, and it's all about the things he's been doing since his show went off the air. He went into a very deep depression, and then he had to think, what am I going to do next? And his life has evolved from there. But he's the same way. He can't stop, and it's just constant energy, and it's a little much for people, and I get it, because I get like blah 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 blah, blah blah blah. But also, I've been in a cage. I've been in a mental, emotional cage for years, and it's so good to have the cage opened up and be able to just be the person I like to be, the person I always want to be, and now the opportunity's here. So anyway, I was supposed to work on this doodad yesterday for live painting, but like I said, instead I ended up talking. So with I don't know how many dozens of people, it wasn't a huge reception, but it was still a reception, and there were still dozens and dozens and dozens of people that showed up. Some people were taking my picture, other people were filming me. I didn't get a single picture, not one, because I was just busy doing the Conan thing and the Keith Haring thing, and just like, wah, and explaining what I do. So I thought, all that said, over the last 14 minutes, I thought it would be nice to hold a live, do a studio mate in another state. And if I didn't say that, I'm Beck Lane, the scale. Yeah, I did say that. I did already say that. So I thought it would be nice to hold a live painting, another studio made a painting session here, and help me get through the work. Because honestly, I'm tired, and I just want to go to bed. But I've got to get these Fridas done. I can't math today. How do I have number 19? I just hung up. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 canvases. All right, I'm confusing myself now. How do I have 8 That's number 20. Oh, I'll figure it out later. Anyway, we're gonna work on this one. This one is number 24. And again, that's 24 out of 55 Fridas. So I'm gonna work on this. And then once we get to 30, maybe a little over 30, then I have to get ready for my third solo show this year. It's going to be Shade 2. We had Shade 1 at Love Art Repeat a while ago, and it was all black and brown African American figures. We're doing it again. We're going to be bringing back a bulk of that work, but then once I finish up these 30 or so Fridas, we do our next live, do our artist talk at Lexow. Then it's time to produce, to work towards the Shade 2, and again, the third solo event this year. So I thought we'd just do what I was supposed to do yesterday instead of this, which I've been doing now for over 15 minutes. So I have all these stencils that I've made that are specific to Frida. I did one painting with a bunch of stencils and made it look like embroidery. And that got me started on making more. So I'm making a series of Frida portraits with embroidery, with stencils and an embroidery look in them, because of her clothing, the embroidered clothing she had. What is that? That's a bird. Got a parrot, monkey. I've also been making stencils of some little handheld Mayan and pre-Columbian sculptures that she collected. Not his dogs. I love his dogs. So I've got the monkey, I've got a parrot, I've also got a little bird. There's the legs of the bird again. So I'm outlining them. I started filling in the background, but I decided to outline them first because it doesn't matter. Because who knows? Actually may end up doing several studio mates in another state this week, so we can get all that work done and then move on to shade. Or I've got some kind of big figure work that I have to do for shade. And I'm psyched about that one. That shade is going up in October. And because of all the PR and marketing work my sister is doing, we're actually going to get some coverage for it. Because honestly, it is the most unique show. Shade 1 was the most unique show going on in Sarasota, being that it's all black and brown figures. And this is apparently the epicenter for white supremacy, I have found out. Yes, I have found out. So that really makes me happy that we'll be doing all black and brown figures. We'll be in the paper, most likely be on the news, on a couple of different news thingies. I have a woman who's volunteered to do photography. We can get some videography done because I have another guy, a videographer who wants to work with me. And again, it's not me, it's about the work. and about the success of the team. And when I'm talking about the team, I want you to understand. I mean, if you're new to me, you're not. If you're new to me, this is just all going to seem bizarre and weird and self-aggrandizing. But when I talk about the team, I'm talking about my sister, I'm talking about Stephanie, but I'm also talking about people like Kerry in Australia, Eric, Kerry Keiss in Colorado. I'm talking about Ann in New Jersey. I'm talking about all these people who have supported me in one way or another. Pam in Florida. Here we go, we're romper rooming again. Pam, my friend Pam, who I've known since I was a child, has bought canvases for me and paint. Eric has been unbelievably supportive. My friend Larry, who just bought a painting, but also helped even further. You know, we've got all these people who have helped me do things that helped me to get things done and to stay afloat. So when I say team, I'm talking about all of us. Lisa, yes, I find some of your comments a little odd, but it's still, you're there, you're there. Brenda who comes to the shows. Not everybody has money. I have no money. But it's like you're showing up. You're showing up, and Brenda, that you have no idea how much that lifted me. And you showed up at a really painful time for you, a big painful transition. And I'm flabbergasted that when you experienced that loss, where did you go? You came to see me. You came to see me, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget our hugs. And your son. And in that team too, right? Now it's like John and Rick from the Unitarian Church, and Linda from the Unitarian who curated, didn't curate, but she kept the show organized. Laura, who wrote the press release, or she wrote their own press release for them. And now, now I lost his name. There's another fellow now who's part of this team and called me this morning and invited me to be part of another show in September, and in part of another organization that is about social justice. So again, when I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about we. I'm talking about all of us. My job is to make your investments valuable and prove that you were right. You were right to invest in me, and then to increase that value. Whatever it is. Yeah, I was talking to my sister, who's most likely watching this, will be watching this at some point, and I was explaining that to her too, that when I'm saying we and I'm saying team, hey Lisa, Lisa, Julie, go to bed. You're supposed to be resting. And I would like to acknowledge that our friend Julie, who's been a good friend, one of my best friends, when Bugsy died, she sent me she made some hearts, resin hearts, for Bugsy's ashes. And our friend Julie had heart surgery this morning. And now she's watching. I love you, Julie. So really, I don't think I articulated enough that when I say we, I mean, when I say team or I say me or I'm talking about the artwork, I'm talking about anything, I'm talking about all of us. I don't consider anything that I do a great feat of my own. It's taken a lot of people to get me to hang in there. And to help me keep moving along. So yeah, in September we're doing another event. It's with an LGBTQ organization, and I don't donate a lot because every organization wants to get artwork for free. I had friends in New York named DeRosa. Oh wow, you have always suggested me, yeah. I love you, Julie. I'm glad you didn't die. That should probably be kept a private joke, but there we are. Anyway, I forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah, there's an LGBTQ youth group here in Sarasota, and LGBTQIA, and I've been asked to donate work, and it's not something that I normally do, but it is profoundly important, especially right now and especially here in this white supremacist city. White supremacist city where Ron DeSantis is every day working to take away rights and people's dignity. So that he can elevate himself in his crowd of fucked up followers. So I'm going to be developing a Frida just for that, for September. And I'll let you know when the dates are. It'll be an auction. That Frida will be on auction. And we'll see about who to contact if you want to make a bid. So, oh yeah, I guess I have to make more than 30 more Fridas pretty quickly. But so, as you can see, I'm just cutting in and around all the little stencil pieces. Outlining them. And then in a little bit, that outline is going to turn into it's going to turn into brush strokes coming out, reaching out like embroidery. I'll be cutting back in with the paint. But like on regular embroidery, there's always an outline, or there's usually an outline of some kind. So we do this. The outline's a little heavy, because it doesn't matter. Just cause it don't matter. Ta-da! Just cause I wanna. Ta-da! Oh! Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to be keeping me company through a few days this week, helping me to keep moving along. That's George. I like George. I like George. He's a pug, and his eyes point in two different directions. used to walk them, and I'd walk them, each dog individually, 2 and 3 miles a day. So we got about 4 or 5. We got about like 5 miles in a day. They'd be out walking for hours with me. Dipshit takes them out for 2 15-minute walks each. Long story. But that's why they're barking. Yeah. We're gonna add something here. Boopity boop. We just need a shape. Julie, you're still there? You still there? You still awake? Maybe, maybe not. As you can see, I'm just kind of brushing lightly over the canvas, over the aerosol. And it's oil paint mixed with mineral spirits. I'm just brushing oil paint now over the aerosol shapes with mineral spirits. None of this is going to be defined right away. None of the shapes will be defined right away. It's layer upon layer, brush stroke upon brush stroke. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th painting where I'm doing the background like this. Oh yeah, Julie, you made a comment the other day that I want to address. You said that choosing Frida was a good marketing decision. I don't do anything for marketing decisions. I don't go, this is the most popular thing, so I'm going to do that. If I were into doing popular images, I would have been painting Leonardo DiCaprio or Mick Jagger and a bunch of other stars. I have to feel an honest and true connection to the figure. I don't do work because it's popular. I don't do disingenuous work either, because it'll show. That, I believe, is being known as a starfucker. And I don't care. And it's funny because I was talking to our friend Julie about this just the other night. Now also, like I just brushed in a little bit of orange. We start just kind of tying things together here and there. I've been thinking a lot too about all the people who used to give me the you shoulds and how angry some of them have gotten and how many you should people have fallen off the face of the earth with me because I wouldn't do what I was told. And I think about them and I feel bad for them because they're the limitations of their vision is what's keeping them from reaching their goals and heights. But also, I get to say, I told you so. I love saying, I told you so. So now I'm painting in the lines. Just got basic flower shapes. And all the stencils that I've cut and all the little shapes I'm doing, they're actually from, I've pulled ideas, I pulled some of the shapes from the embroidered dresses that she wore, the embroidered clothing. Not exact, I don't need to copy. But as my mom would say, just a suggestion. Okay, I know that's the bird. Yeah. Just a suggestion of the idea. Because she was so committed to pre-Columbian work and to different work by different tribes or peoples, cultures in Mexico. There are certain animals and images that have meaning to those specific cultures. And I'm not an expert on them, but I just kind of pulled some ideas from the different cultures. And stonework. There's stonework I'm going to be doing in upcoming Fridas, or images from stonework. Something like that, you know. Okay, I think I'm going to bring over my palette. This just a little bit. Can we still see? Can we see pretty? So one of the reporters asked me, so really, you know, a whole bunch of questions. But one of the most interesting ones, because people, you know, I'm not used to people, I don't know, I'm not used to interacting with people a lot of the time, and so I forget to articulate what I'm thinking. And so this one guy, Marty, he asked me, what do you want people to take away from the artwork? Why, you know, all these Fridas. Let's see. Here we go. You know, all these 55 Fridas that you're working on. And I said something like, I want people to look at them and not say, not think, oh, pretty picture of Frida, bad picture of Frida, interesting picture of Frida. Because a lot of times when artists do Frida Kahlo, it's how she looks, not how she feels, how she looks. It's not her character, her strength that they're trying to capture is just mustache, eyebrows, flowers. End of story. That's it. It's how she looks. And it's just turned into such a trope. It annoys the fuck out of me. So, what I told Marty was, what I want people to do when they're looking at these is see her eyes looking at them, challenging them, to see her worth, to see her value, as we've talked about before, but also to see themselves in her. To go home and want to learn more about this woman who was physically and mentally and emotionally crushed over and over and over and over again every day of her life, from the time she was 18 years old until she died. I want people to feel her strength, and in that, feel their own. We've all had challenges, or I hate to say challenges, we've all had disasters and tragedies. Most of us have, anyway. We've had hardships. She lived through extraordinary times, revolutionary times in Mexico. She lived with she was married to a revolutionary painter. But she was a revolution unto herself, and at times she was the only one that knew it. So I want people to see that and feel it and recognize it in themselves. And especially women. Women are people that are more vulnerable. See the value in what they're doing. And if they're not doing things that they feel are valuable, hopefully make that change. Make their life mean something. And that's what I told the Marty. What happened to his beak? A little bird. Doop-de-doo. Oh, come on. I gotta find that other brush. And the other paint. Oh, and another thing, I keep forgetting to check on it. I submitted artwork to a open call, a local open call that actually extends to several different cities around here, including St. Pete and Tampa, and I think some more. But oh my God, okay. Yeah, it was an open call, and there were no specifics on what type of artwork, what type of subject, but what drew me to it, and it's called the Skyway Project, or the Skyway, something like that. But what drew me to it was the artists that are accepted will be their work will be placed in one of 5 different museums in the surrounding cities. Well, in Sarasota and the surrounding cities. So fingers crossed. Because that's the goal. Start getting work in museums. Well, I guess our friend Julie went back to sleep, which she should, since she had heart surgery. Yeah, so this is a thin layer going on right now because the paint is just kind of pushing itself around with the brush as I go over like the aerosol. It's not attaching particularly well, but as it dries, by tomorrow morning or even later tonight, it'll be a little thicker, and then the oil paint will not just attach to the aerosol that has attached to the gesso, but when I start to go over with more layers, the oil paint will start attaching itself and hardening to the layer of oil paint underneath. If that made any sense. Nom, nom, nom. Sorry, I'm probably standing directly in the way. I did this a few years ago, I had a different tripod so we could put the camera way up high and you could see a little bit easier. But I suppose it doesn't matter. We're just spending time together. We're studio mates. So you're doing your thing and I'm doing mine. And what do we say? The best part is I don't make a mess on your side of the studio and I don't owe you rent. So as you might be able to see, we're just kind of cleaning up the areas in between some of the outlines of the figures. And again, they don't have to be exact, they're embroidery. We're mimicking handmade embroidery, not perfect machine embroidery, handmade embroidery. So we don't have to be super precise. I'm not Kehinde Wiley. Basically Shrek with a paintbrush in my hand. Oh, shit. When I lay this out, of course, it's all with aerosols and stencils, but when there's a blank space like that, I just gotta fill it in with this something. So. We don't want to disturb the rhythm. What is... Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense. There we go. Yeah, I think tomorrow we're going to have a studio mate again. Figure out a time. One thing that my sister is working on is my Patreon account, but she's really helping me to get things organized and more scheduled, because with Patreon it's been willy-nilly and I'll get going on things and I forget, and then I go to write things, to write up a message or to post something, and I just get stymied and I don't know what to say. So my sister's going to be helping with that. And she's been building schedules to help me, like, okay, this is what you get to do today. So as we move along with things, we're going to have more regular times for Studio Mate. There we go. For Studio Mate, posting on Patreon, putting up new items on TeePublic, the whole bit. Just keep sticking with us while this end of the team pulls together. I know Stephanie's working on getting my work in Atlanta. We could have a meeting about that soon too. So many meetings. just remembered another event I have to do. It's not, it's months and months and months away. And I'm looking forward to it. By oh crap, I meant, oh, don't forget that. In February, I have to go back to Art Ovation for my second artist residency there, and then we were talking about April as well. Okay, so the figures, the little stencils, should be coming clearer and clearer. Look, they're becoming charming. Utterly charming. I'm gonna... Poor George, he's so bored. I'm gonna go grab another canvas so I can show you where we're headed with this. Since we do have the clarity and she has been moved further ahead. Okay, so this is Frida when she was 18 years old. I know she looks like she's about 12, but she had just been in the trolley accident with the bus or the truck, and her abdomen had been impaled. She had broken almost every bone in her body. So I have two pictures that work together on this. One is Frida at the beginning when she's 18 years old. And this is really the beginning of her becoming an artist. And then another painting, which is taken from a photo of one of the last photographs ever taken of Frida. In this painting, as you can see, she's got the white wrap holding her in traction. And then in the older Frida, in one of the last pictures ever taken of her, her head is completely wrapped in white cotton. So there are similarities that tie them together, but we have old Frida. When they hang, what we want is older Frida on the left, younger Frida on the right. So that older Frida, she's kind of looking off in the distance, but she's also, in my mind, the intent is that she's thinking about how her life started. Not as a young child, which we've also painted. I've got a number of paintings of her as a young child, but when her life started, when her real true life as an artist started. Remember, at this point, she was expecting to go to medical school. And if it weren't for this accident, we wouldn't have known her. If it weren't for this accident, she wouldn't have been an artist. She wouldn't have been this figure that millions of people over decades and decades and decades and decades have admired and emulated. Yeah, so we have the older Frida, who is very, very sick, has an infection, I believe, and dying. And we have the younger Frida, who almost died at this point. She'd also had polio as a child as well. So she had already known sickness and struggle and pain even before this. But it was a precursor to bigger things to come, this accident. So what I'm doing now, I don't want to flatten out the background. Oh, crap, I just put it in paint. I don't want to flatten out the background and make it a solid gray color, which is kind of coming across that way on the camera. But that's not the intent. Because what I want in the end, come on you, is to have the feel of a fabric, but without the folds. It'll be easier to understand later. Now I have a color that my friend Wesley, who I haven't talked to in a long time, sent me a number of years ago. And it's this. It's this green that you see in the birds. And I didn't know what to do with it for years. But of course I'm using it in the face. But I'm also mixing it with a blue, a Persian blue, a little bit of titanium buff, sometimes a little bit of purple, and I'm getting all these really interesting colors and effects. Different effects. Yeah, you can see how it lightened up this little area right there. Sorry, I have to look in the camera. But lightened it up, and it's not. What's making it more interesting is I'm lightening it up, but I'm not using a white, I'm using that green. So it actually, that green, whatever name it had is gone, but that really wild electric green is giving more depth, or giving depth, whereas if I had used a white or a titanium, just titanium buff, it would have flattened everything out. It's giving the background depth, but then it's also working its way into the face. And that's going to help the face bend a little. Don't I sound fancy? Oh, you should see it in person. It looks totally different in person. It's actually kind of exciting. If I do say so myself. Yeah, Wesley, I hope you're still out there. I've missed you. Since you just dropped off social media. I hope you're well. I miss you. I hope school's been going well. Or your school year went well. And you're drumming. All right, now if you look in these little doodads that we have going on, you'll see lines. Like you can see the lines here. And that's the beginning of the indication. Or my thinking is it's starting to indicate the embroidery. It doesn't have to be explicitly, you know, oh look at, I'm doing embroidery. Again, quoting my mother, it's just a suggestion. Because if I were to go and make tiny details, it would just get boring. Then I'm doing what everybody else is doing, or a million other artists are doing, by saying, this is a piece of embroidery. Ta-da! And I'd get bored. Or, to quote my mother once again, I would get frustrated. It's not a word, but my mother made it up, and she thought it was a word. I would get frustrated. So I'm not filling in every little detail. We're just building up layers. Doing the indications, which actually, I'll start now. And with these embroidery stitches coming off of them, where the embroidery has been sewn down, if it's, let's say it's an embroidered patch and it's been sewn down, whatever, there's always going to be little stitches coming off of them. I don't worry about the direction. I don't worry about the intensity of the brush stroke. I don't worry about much. I just put down the brush stroke because that will disappear. A lot of it will disappear as I keep applying layers to the background. Sometimes it's using a blue. Sometimes it's using a purple. Doesn't matter. Everything looks like a little cactus right now. Doody-doo. See. Wait, it's adding these little stitches coming off the applique that we've created. really adds a certain amount of grace and fluidity. And it's fun. It's like super duper fun. Yeah, we've got the lighter stitching on the inside, just little marks, like it's clearer there, not a big deal. Might make them clearer later, might not, the little stitching inside. They look like little cactus. So I had a woman say to me at one show, and I talked about it before, or she said it to my sister. She was complaining that none of my Fridas are smiling. And my reaction was the same as my sister's. Well, she had a hard life. Basically, not everybody has to be cheerful, so calm down. But, not everybody is, and not everybody can be cheerful. So, Karen, mind your own. You want a happy Frida? Go home and paint a happy Frida. But I learned something really interesting that I didn't realize. She had bad teeth. She had very large incisors, apparently, but she also had bad teeth because she loved candy. And she, too, most likely had at least one degenerative disease like I do, or degenerative illness like I do, with all of her illnesses and accidents. I am going to guess that she had, I mean, this is, you know, a large S guess. I am going to guess that she most likely had a neurological disorder like I do, that will, you know, that's making my bones deteriorate. Because I watch her walk and hold herself, and I'm like, nah, that looks a little familiar sometimes. But anyway, bad teeth. So she had gold caps, I think, put on her incisors, but then she started losing all her teeth like I do, like I have lost a lot of mine. And so she didn't smile. Once in a while she did. Once in a while she's in photographs where she's smiling. And in movies. But for the most part, home movies, but for the most part, nope. And when embroiderers are embroidering, or people are doing applique, the stitches aren't going to be this large and clumsy. They're not going to be ugly. But we want to make it clear to the viewer what this is. So they are going to be seen. Plus I happen to love the stitches coming when you get to see stitches. Human-made stitches, I love them. There's no way a skilled embroidery artist or someone doing applique would have stitches coming off like that, so big and wide. But it really adds to the painting. So we're going with it. This, by the way, is my armoire. It's my closet. It's where I keep my clothes. But because I have to use every surface for painting, it is also, it's a painting station. And the face on this is not done. The figure is not done. What happens is I get it just so far and I work on the background and then I come back to the figure. So they bounce off of each other and balance each other. Let me see something. All right, you know what, we're just going to keep doing this. Since we have the stitching done, the outer stitching done on these applique pieces in the background. Oh, wait, bird. How did I forget you, little birdie, and you, the flower next to the bird, and you, little circle. Oh, little birdie, I'm so sorry. Okay. So we're going to take this one down and put up the sister piece to it. I know I started doing the stitching on it the other day. Let's see if we can hold my attention and get me through it. And so this is the taken from one of the last photographs of Frida. So it's a sister to the piece where she's younger and she's in traction. Those are going to be sold as a set. It cannot be separated because I said so. Right, Frida? Right. All right, my friend, I guess we'll fix your nose later. So for this one, the applique or the embroidery, whatever it is, involved both the birds, but for this one too, I cut a skull. I cut a skull stencil and used that, and the shape of it was pulled from Aztec stonework. The shape or the idea of it. I think it was Aztec. It was somebody. It was an ancient civilization I should be more respectful of, and I just forgot. Look at how the color I just brushed in to the stitching also helps to inform what's going to be happening with the face and the cloth. Her head wrap. Doing this stuff, this background work, actually makes it so much easier to get this stuff done. Get her face done, get the figure done. Whereas that's the focal point for a long time. You know, that's what I'm focused on. Now I've got the whole canvas that my mind has to constantly calibrate and recalibrate. And it actually makes things flow a lot easier by having all of this going on. Oh, Frida, your little nose. So tomorrow night, speaking of being in a really racist place and horrible in Ron DeSantis, tomorrow night there's another school board meeting. And members of the LGBTQIA community have been going to these school board meetings because books are being banned and all kinds of bullshit crap is going on here. Because little Ronnie wants to run for president. And nothing helps you win votes more than being hateful and destroying people's lives. So there's a school board meeting tomorrow night, and I'm going with my new friend India. And I get to wear one of my ties. I'm very excited about it. I guess we're going to go out to dinner. And then we're going to the school board meeting. I'm gonna wear a tie. Torn between my Michael Kors and this other one that I have. But I've become acquainted and I'm beginning to be embedded with a group of people who are not taking this crap going on in Florida laying down. And it makes me happy. Makes me super happy. Actually, nothing makes me happier than giving people the middle finger. Giving powerful, selfish, greedy, horrible people the middle finger. And there's a whole bunch of us now that I'm joining in with. Yay. Yay. So it looks like pretty much everything has the stitching coming out of the applique or embroidery. This one I hope you can see how much more fluid these stitches make. These lines that are indicating stitching make this. Because to me, that's what it feels like. It feels more fluid. And it's realism without being explicitly realistic. You know, this is a patch. This is a piece of embroidery. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, those two are going to take some time to dry, so we'll go back to this guy. Blah, 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 blah. And I think too, in the last video I was wearing a Pride shirt. We don't really have stores around here, like Pride stores, like other cities I've lived in that are more grown up and not quite as hateful. Or not quite as right-wing extremist. You know, cities that actually believe in things like education. Shocking, isn't it, sounds? So we don't have stores where you can buy Pride patches or t-shirts. So in the last video I said, hey, if you happen to have a Pride t-shirt that you can part with, please let me know, and then I can wear it on camera. Once again, giving the middle finger to people, to dumb people who live here and who are actually taking leadership positions. So if you do happen to have a Pride t-shirt, I wear a medium in men's. But a large will do. but I wear a medium in men's. Small will be a little tight. But if you happen to have one, it would be greatly appreciated. Or a pin, just even a pin. When I sell another painting, I might get a couple t-shirts off TeePublic, Pride t-shirts, but I think it's really important to show up now, again. Can't believe we have to do this again. It's 1970. Fucking people. These right-wing extremists. So if you have a pin or a patch or just something that you don't mind parting with, it'll be used on camera, and it'll stand for our community here, as well as the wider community. But it will be used. And who knows, it could end up going to events with me and being worn at events. That would be super fun. Yeah, if you have anything that you're willing to part with, write in the comment section, or DM me, or email me at becklane42@gmail.com. becklane42 @gmail.com. And we'll figure it out. But it would be really greatly appreciated. Okay, look at how it's actually making the background feel somewhat sweet, but without being sickening sweet, without being saccharine. These little lines indicating the applique that's been sewn on. It's just adding a charm. These little stitches that will get thinner over time and change color. Scoobity doobity. Just a suggestion. Yeah, so if you want to know how truly weird Sarasota and Sarasota County have become since Trump, listen to the latest episode of This American Life. If you want to know the true depth of the evil that is rooting itself here, because that's always fun to learn about. listen to the latest episode of This American Life. And then you'll understand too why I'm asking if you have a pride t-shirt or a pin or a patch or something that you can either lend me or, you know, spare. It would be greatly appreciated. Ron DeSantis has made a habit of coming to town to parade his specific brand of vile, disgusting evil, and going to a college here called New College, which has been in the news a lot. But when he's decided that he's going to take away more rights from people, he comes here and he flaunts it at New College, where he's gotten rid of the diversity department, and he is now dictating what books can be read. And what book? This is America. What books can be read? And people, like my neighbor, love him. Just love him. They worship him. Because nothing says freedom like the title of Ron DeSantis's book and taking away other people's rights. But like I said, there is a contingency of people, and a growing contingency of people who are saying, not here, not now, not again. Well, people like are going, oh, I love him. Oh my God, I love Ron DeSantis. I'm going to go sit in the front row of his latest rally, take his picture. I love him. I'm going to get a signed copy of his stupid book. He doesn't watch my videos. He doesn't give a shit. And I wouldn't care anyway. We've already had this discussion too many times. And we ain't having it again. Alright, so I went a little dark around the necklace, but it's not going to matter. Because all this is going to change, and it'll get softened and lightened and brightened, and it's going to go through transformation. But we've got the stitching around all the applique. Now I think we're just going to let everything dry. That's it. Pretty boop. There she is. So, I think I'm just going to let it dry, and we'll do this again tomorrow, and I will probably be just as chatty tomorrow. But again, if you have anything for Pride where you are, that you can spare, get a hold of me, and I'll give you my mailing address. There are also, I have some mail-outs going to people who have been particularly supportive and kind. I just got new, well, I have a Yeyu Kusama sticker, I have new brochures, I have all new stuff, and I have more stickers coming tomorrow. I have a Frida Kahlo and a Queen sticker coming tomorrow. The stickers are new, you can't buy them. I made them to give out at events or to send to people. You can buy stickers on TeePublic of other things, but they aren't designed like this. These are personal, for more personal gifts. So I'm sending some of those out over the next few days. And I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, you know, like even a pin, I don't know, just as something. And Eric, by the way, thank you for the Frida Kahlo quote book. Let me go get it. just had it. Eric, what did I do with it? I just had it. All right. Oh, Eric, I'm so sorry. I've put it somewhere. I just had it a little while ago because I love to flip through it and just pick a page and read a quote. What I'm going to try and get into doing and remember to do is to read from our Frida quote book. Oh, this is driving me nuts. It was just here. Heavens to Betsy. Eric, I found her. Eric, I found her. Ta-da! I love this. So, this is 100 Inspiring Frida Kahlo quotes. That's not Frida Kahlo on the cover, obviously. And it's like really simple, just like little quotes. So let's flip open a page and pick one. I think this is perfect for what we were talking about in the beginning in the presentations. And trying to engage with people who have come to the shows and making everyone laugh and making everyone feel seen and I mean really seen and appreciated. My favorite thing at these events, the artist talks, my favorite thing at the artist talks and these live painting events is making people laugh. And so quote number 59, there is nothing more precious than laughter. There is nothing more precious than laughter. Quote number 59 from Frida. But I got a glimpse of number 60 too, so why don't we read quote number 60 in 100 Inspiring Quotes by Frida Kahlo. There isn't enough time there, isn't enough nothing. There is only reality. What once was is gone. What remains are the transparent roots appearing transformed into an eternal fruit tree. Your fruits already give scent, your flowers give color, blooming in the joy of wind and flower. Okay, that was a lot. What remains are the transparent roots appearing transformed into an eternal fruit tree. Your fruits already give scent, your flowers give color, blooming in the joy of wind and flower. Not really sure what that means or what it's referring to, but thank you, Frida, for quote number 69. I think we're going to do one more from the 100 quotes. Number 40, because that number 60 was a little much. Number 40. My paintings are well painted, not nimbly, but patiently. My paintings are well painted, not nimbly, but patiently. It's so interesting to hear her words when she's talking about her work, because we tend to think in terms of this is good, this is bad. We've simplified and watered language down, and our ability to define ourselves has been somewhat diminished, or, you know, made somewhat common, I think. I love that Frida is really, that she really and truly thinks, and she has embedded herself in thought and embedded herself in defining herself, her artwork. But it comes across in such different tone than we have now. Although she does say, my paintings are well painted. That could mean a couple of different things. Not just my paintings are good, my paintings are bad, those being the only options. but she could be talking about the investment that she's made in them, the time and the energy and the thought. My paintings are well painted. That's what she could mean. She could mean a number of different things. And she says, not nimbly, but patiently. So she could be talking about the quality of her work, good, bad, mediocre, in between, somewhere in between. She could be talking about her skill, the overall look and feel. I mean, not the deepest quote in the world, but it could be. Let's go back to 59 though. There is nothing more precious than laughter. So let's think about that when we have to do things like this, or we do artist talks, or we have openings, we have receptions. Let's remember that, especially now, when things are so serious and so hard and so hate-filled, especially here in Florida. There is nothing more precious than laughter. All right, I gotta go wash these things. Ugh, they're gross. All right, that's it. I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst & Company, and let's do this again tomorrow. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. Just spending time together and getting work done, and me doing this one. And working on Frida, all right? Beck Lane, this Catalyst. Oh, if you'd like to help support Catalyst & Company, all the links are down below, including links to TeePublic, Patreon, where you can supply monthly support for as little as $5 a month. And yes, that $5 does mean everything to me. And I do depend on Patreon. So I really appreciate it. Like I said, Melissa's going to start helping me work on it, because I'm a mess when it comes to it. But anyway, TeePublic, Patreon, we've also got Cash App and PayPal. And then, of course, all the galleries listed down below, including J. Louise at Blue Egg, Chasen Galleries here in Sarasota, and Raphael Coelho, who we just sold a painting. I think we're at the tail end of negotiating a sale on a painting, Raphael Coelho in New Jersey. And then, of course, there's Lexow Gallery that has been hosting all the Frida Kahlos. And if you see a Frida Kahlo that you would like, contact me or contact Lexow Gallery, and we'll help you get all set up. And if need be, with a payment plan, we've got that available. Poor George. Oh, poor George. All right, we'll see you again. We'll do this tomorrow, all right? Ready? Ready, Carrie? Ready, Carrie? Here we go. And thank you for the funny memes. You crack me up all the time. I love the funny memes on Facebook. Anyway, ciao. Ready? Here we go. Ciao. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, shoot. Where is it? There it is. Boink.